Are we really doing this? You voted. We are watching the world's strictest parents. I went to the YouTube channel, went to the most popular video, which has millions of views. I think like 14 or 15 million views. It is the New Zealand family. So let's grab our beverages and dive in.
Riley has just turned 16.
No, not too bad of cigarettes.
But this Gold Coast teenager is anything but sweet.
Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Hope your plane crashes on the way home.
Silly behaviour.
I don't care. I don't care. Shut up. I am disrespectful, but I just do what I want.
That much disrespect and be so hurtful.
It was hard.
We have met Riley. She has just turned 16 years old. And from what I understand, it looks like this show is mostly about teenagers as opposed to what we normally watch on this channel, which is Super Nanny, deals with the young kids. So it's interesting because we're going to get to see what happens down the road if you parent a certain way. And I'm already getting a whiff of perhaps permissive parenting that has led to this.
I love running amok, like going out with friends and drinking. I'm not stoned. I drink until I don't know where I'm walking, I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't know who I'm with. My parents don't know who I am at all.
She's selfish.
I can't talk to her, I can't tell her anything. She doesn't take anything I say on board.
Shut up, I'm talking to Mum. Me and my dad get along if I do what I'm told, which is never.
We spend night after night worrying about where you are.
Isn't this called World's Strictest Parents? Because there is nothing strict about this parent situation. Strict, I would fall under the authoritarian category, which is when you have a lot of demands of your children, but you're not very responsive, which is the exact opposite of permissive, which is you have almost no demands of your children, but you're very responsive. And then you have neglectful, which is neither. And then you have the one that is supported with all the literature of raising children that have confidence, are empathetic, are independent. There's so many good attributes when you are both demanding and responsive. That's called authoritative, not to get into too much mambo jumbo. But why is this called World's Strictest? Because they're letting her do everything. They don't even know what she's doing. How is this considered strict? Am I missing something?
I'm currently staying in a mate's house and I've been here for like 3 weeks. I can do what I want when I'm with my mates. Like I can come home whenever, I can stay out the night. It's easier than being with my parents and wondering where I am.
We miss having her here and, being part of our family. Sorry.
It's my life. I should be able to make my own choices, do what I want to do and pay for it when I get older.
I had to move my head in the middle of that because I feel like I'm blocking the screen no matter where I go. So why do teenagers rebel? Think of it like a fishing line. You know when you fish and you let that line go out, you can't let it go out too far because you don't have control over the fish. You have to make it go just far enough to where you can reel it in safely, but not too close, right? You need to give it enough slack. That's what raising kids is like. As they get older, you give them a little bit more slack and then you go, hey, you check in with them. As long as I can trust you and we have this good relationship, I can let you go a little further and I can let you go a little bit further. And if we don't let that happen gradually, this is the result.
Teenager Liam has been at this airport before. 2 years ago, Liam's parents moved the family from England to give this bad boy a fresh start. But things have hit crisis point, and Liam's about to get kicked out of the family home.
Wait, we're being introduced to another kid. This is a whole nother family. How does this show work? Bear with me as we learn together. We have another teenager, maybe similar problem. Let's see.
I've taken speed, LSD, mushies, weed.
If there's drugs around, he will use them to excess.
I'm so baked. Eckies, juice, a little bit of coke.
Because he does everything to excess.
One early morning I came back from the party and I had drugs on me. I beat the big woman in and I beat the door in and then he called the cops.
pretty similar situation. We have drugs, we have alcohol, we have permissive parenting, we have parents that are just allowing this to happen. And we can definitely talk about what to do if your kids are going down this route. But before we do, we have to understand why we come back time and time again to these substances. It's because it gives us a dopamine burst for almost no effort. And dopamine feels good. It's motivating. It changes your state from being bored to no longer being bored, to being from sad to happy. With all you have to do is put something in your body. There's no effort. As opposed to, let's say you're working on a project for school or for work and you have to put in the effort and then you finally see the results. You get that dopamine. It feels good, but you had to put in effort. So what happens over time with people who consume to change their state and feel good is they have no growth. You'll see their lives were the same 10 years ago that they are today. They haven't grown in their career. They haven't grown in their relationships. Maybe they're still stuck at home. There's no movement because there's no motivation to get to that end result. If I could just feel good by putting something in my mouth, why not? This is so much easier.
Our teens are heading across the Tasman to New Zealand's North Island. Half an hour out of the bustling city of Auckland is the town of Albany. Its home. Matriarch Yvonne is not a woman you want to mess with.
We live semi-rural, so for them to go anywhere, they're going to have to negotiate the driveway. It's about 400 metres long and very steep.
Look who has decided to join us. It's Spiffy. He was passing by. I don't think I've ever explained why we called him Spiffy. Check him out. He's a tuxedo cat, and I just thought he looks all dressed up, and he's so spiffy. These teens are now going to a boot camp-esque kind of situation with a family, and they're in the middle of nowhere. I already feel like this is not going to be helpful at all. Switching from permissive parenting straight to authoritarian is... they're just going to push back more. The harder you push with teens, the harder they push back. It makes me think of those days back in the day when I used to watch Dr. Phil and all those shows at home when I was a teenager myself, and they'd be sending the teenagers to boot camp. This is what it's making me feel like. But I'm open-minded. Can you hear Spiffy in the background? He's so loud. And it's not like he needs anything. I think he just likes to sing.
Hi guys. Hi. Can I give you a hug? Yeah. I'm Yvonne. I'm Riley. Nice to meet you. Am I allowed to give you a hug? Why not? It's going to be a nice to meet you.
But if Liam and Riley think they've outsmarted Yvonne and Simon, they're in for a rude shock.
Oh, g'day Chris.
Hi. Hi Chris.
I'd like to introduce you to Riley and Liam. Just want to let you know that Max is a drug dog.
Oh, is he?
Oh, okay.
There's a drug dog. I don't know if this is more entertainment or learning. I don't know. I must say that when they first met and the kids came out of the car, the parents were very warm and loving, but also firm. So hopefully that means they fall under that authoritative category because there was a lot of responsiveness and care. I don't know if it's true or not, but we'll see. They're going to find drugs in their bags. So, all right, well, let's watch them find the drugs.
If Max finds any drugs, he'll sit.
A few remnants in the bag. That's been on the bag. We've emptied the bag, there's been a few remnants.
Might be tobacco, because I have tobacco in my wallet. Yeah.
Liam has carried dope in the backpack in Australia, and it's that scent the dog has detected.
They were going to send them to jail if there were drugs found. Could you imagine? You sign up for this show and clearly you use drugs, you break the law to consume things that are either completely illegal for everyone or at least illegal for you at that age, and they're going to send you to jail. This had to be just to scare them. Is this like a scare tactic? Is this a usual thing on this show? Because they didn't have any on them. I'd assume production made sure they didn't have anything on them because they don't want to be liable, right? Anyway, now they're about to get into the house rules, so let's hear it.
No smoking or drugs or alcohol, and you need to do what we ask you to do.
Yep, no.
Okay?
Yeah. The only way they're going to get fed tonight is at the church cafe.
Do you mind if I go out for breaths and stuff?
Sure, you do what you need to do.
Is that all right?
Yep,
cheers,
absolutely.
Thanks.
Riley's anti-religious stance calls for desperate measures.
Where are they?
What is this ridiculousness? They're home talking about rules. Now they're at church. This one hates church, so they're running away. Where are they running? There's cameras. It makes no sense to me. But on this channel, we use these kinds of shows as a jumping off point to discuss parenting and discipline. And there was something that was said in the car that I really want to note. The boy asked, hey, is it okay if while we're in the church, like I step out every little bit? I just feel like I need to get some air. And right away, mom said, sure. She said yes. And that was really important because that's showing the child, oh, you're heard. What I would have done though is added some clarity to the situation. I would have said, sure, comma, what does that look like to you? Does that mean stepping out like 2 or 3 times, 1 time, 5 minutes, 10 minutes? I just want to make sure that we're on the same page. And that makes it so that you don't have an argument later where you go, well, I thought you meant stepping out was this.
So, we're going home.
No, we're going to Bolo.
No, you're
got enough money? No.
You lied to me. You said we were going to go to a restaurant, but it's a bloody church.
If you continue, listen to me, listen, Riley.
What?
If you continue this little charade.
It's not a charade. I don't want to go to church.
Well, you're not going to church.
So then can we go to Macca's then?
No, you're not getting fed tonight. I told you that.
Oh, but you're my guardian.
That's a good point that he actually has. They were lied to. They were told they were going to a restaurant and then they showed up at church. That's not cool. You're not building trust on your side. And now they can't eat tonight? What is this show?
Oh, no shit. I want to go to Bolo.
What time does it shut?
It's over 10. Which means like leave now.
Despite the dark and being 2 kilometres from the nearest shops, they're off.
It's this way. No, it's this way. I'm not scared of getting caught because I don't care.
She's just pure, utter selfishness and rebellion.
I'm so glad she said that. I don't care. That says everything. Why should she care? What's the benefit to listening to these people? She has no relationship with them. So why there's no respect back and forth? What is she getting out of it listening to these rules? And that is why the foundation of parenting teens comes down to the relationship you have with your kids. They don't want to disappoint you because you don't disappoint them. They want to respect you because you respect them. And that's why authoritarian parenting stops working when it gets to a certain age. Because it's like, why? What's the point? Think of lying. Why do kids continue to lie? Because all kids will start lying and all adults still lie. We all lie. But why is it so pervasive in certain children? Because they've learned that telling the truth doesn't benefit them.
Well, look who I found, eh? They were incredibly defiant. I mean, she's a piece of work. I tell you, she is a real piece of work. I'm going to have to wear her out.
Can't sleep.
Well, you can lie in bed.
I can't.
Think about the future. That might be a good idea.
After a few more hours of open defiance, Yvonne decides she's had enough.
If this is going to be a 7-day battle, let the games begin.